It's the Morning Cryptos, and I can't wait to see what's going on with the markets. I can't wait to see what happened with Bitcoin while I was asleep. It's like Christmas morning every day here. Let's start the music and do the Morning Cryptos. It's day 138. Boom! All right. Cool and groovy. Whoa. All right. Oh, boy. Okay. Well, it's interesting because I'm in an emotional dilemma, and I'll talk about it in a little bit, because I sold my quantum. I sold 100 of it right up here at the top. As the top. At least it seemed like it at the time. I sold 100 quantum because quantum went up and I wanted to take profits, and I didn't know where to take profits. And where to take profits is a kind of a big challenge right now. If everything that you're following is up, where do you lock in your profits, right? And so I've been looking at a bunch of new coins and new projects, so it's forcing me to expand, which is good. And then the other day, I did 3 dumb mistakes. I thought a trade had not gone through over at Bittrex, and I don't know where I got it. I got somewhere in this area here. I don't know where I got in. All my arrows disappeared because my computer needs to be rebooted constantly, but I think I might have solved the problem. But I thought it didn't go through, and my computer was so laggy that I didn't want to take the time to go back to the other screen and check my wallet to see if it really had come out of my quantum wallet, so I just essentially did it again, and again, it didn't give me a confirmation, so I actually sold 300 of my quantum, so now the question is, I want to buy back my quantum with Bitcoin that's higher. Now, if Bitcoin goes to 20,000, I'm in good shape. But if Bitcoin comes up to 18,000 and then kind of peters out, I'm okay too. But if it just stays the same, I'm kind of screwed anywhere for that 100 quantum here. But the problem is, I want to buy my quantum back. And the whole theory is you buy it back when it's lower, but quantum keeps going up. And quantum was where I was putting all my profits. But now it's like rising like crazy. I don't know what to do. So I'm thinking about that. But while we're thinking about that, let's go back to Bitcoin and let's look at the Bitcoin price and the news. And the other thing that's kind of bugging me is Bittrex seems to be lagging behind every place else in price. And maybe that's a good thing, right? Anything that seems bad, the whole practice years ago, well, that might be a good thing. How is that a good thing? So let's look. If you invested 1,000 in Bitcoin in 2013, here's how much you'd have now. That's what CNBC does. Do you understand, people? That is hypnosis. That is, let's see if we can make people upset. Let's see if we can just kind of dig in the little thing. You're dumb. You're dumb. You didn't do this. But hurry up now. Hurry up and get in, right? They thrive on FOMO and FUD. Fear of missing out and fear, uncertainty, and doubt, people. So I had a conversation yesterday afternoon with a friend of mine, the husband of a friend of mine, really. And 3 weeks ago, she was like, Mark, please, will you get him involved in the cryptos? He's driving me crazy. He just retired, right? And he used to collect coins and stuff, and they literally paid for an addition on their house with coins. And he repeated something he'd heard on the mainstream news that was totally and completely like, oh yeah, Bitcoin dropped to minus 1,000 one day. Like, what? Like, has that ever happened? So that's something I want to warn people about, is the mainstream media is not going to understand this. You're going to hear a lot from Wall Street people, and they're going to be flapping their lips, and they don't know this. They haven't lived and breathed this. So the thing is, you need to start thinking for yourself. That's the real revolution. Anyway, I'm really charged up today. Woo, I woke up like, yeah, the revolution is here, people! And over here we have Seeking Alpha. Haven't heard of them before. Bitcoin, the big short is coming. Right? Let's sow some more fear and dread into the marketplace. Bitcoin prices hit new high on December 15th. Business Insider 20 minutes ago. So it has hit a new high. Here it says $17,889. And, okay. So, according to that. But, according to Bittrex over here, if I go to my wallets and I'll let you peek, I'm up to 15,780 in this wallet, plus my Exodus wallet, which is up to 4652. So I'm over $20,000, which is pretty mind-boggling. Since I started with $20 a day, taxing myself last February, buying Bitcoin, $20 a day, then a little Ethereum, $20 a day, then a little Litecoin, $20 a day. Not $20 a day each, just $20 a day. And that was a huge amount of money for me. And I have not put any more money in for quite a while. So that for me is really exciting that you can really crank your crypto here. I have 0.4165867 Bitcoin in this account. And, you know, the question is, what is that according to these guys? Oh, that's $7,452. That's not a new high for me. Like, huh? That's what it was the other day. What's the deal? So that's kind of, I'm not, and Bittrex says there's zero change, but over on these other charts, you know, it shows everything else is up. But all my other stuff is down, other than ADA Cardano, which is just cranking, and I sold some of that, but I still have 2,000 of them. So today the big question is, am I going to buy my Quantum back, or am I going to have to wait? Am I going to have to take my Bitcoin and put it someplace else because it's making me nervous? I'm really not liking being up at the top of this big thing here. But we've said that. See, the thing is, we've said it all along, and every new high. I mean, literally back in July, we were thinking, oh, that's too high. It's 28. You know, I owned a full Bitcoin back in July, and when it was $2,500. And we were like, that's it. There's no way it can go higher. There's no way it can go higher, right? And again, people, this is the hypnosis of money, and I want to hit this hard before I look at the charts. Everything about money is made up. Everything. From dollar bills, those pieces of paper that we buy and exchange stuff with, everything around money is made up because value is intrinsically abstract. How do you store value? How do you store human work? How do you store ideas? How do you exchange them in a way so that party one gets what they want and party two gets what they want, right? And the free market is the great conversation. And yes, it is volatile. It will have dips because people change their fucking minds, right? People change their minds. People have emotions, and they come to the market with all of their emotions, all of the stuff they haven't worked out in their own life, and it's messy. Human endeavor is messy. And the whole idea that somehow a central bank and a government can control all of this is a little bit bizarre. But the free market is thousands upon millions of people having a conversation. And right now the conversation all around the world is, I want to get me some Bitcoin. And you and I hopefully are a little more experienced than that, and we don't want to chase a rising market. So, for example, I would not buy Bitcoin right now, right? I would take my profits out into Ethereum if Ethereum's lower, so that Ethereum then has room to grow, right? So, and we think Ethereum's high now. We think everything that rose on Monday is high. Like Monday was crazy. But we'll see. Where is it? Where will it be tomorrow, right? So let's look at the charts, and if we hit 19,000, if we hit 18,000, I'm gonna at each point I'm gonna take out $100 worth of my Quantum, but I'm not gonna put it back into Quantum until Quantum has a pullback. So that's what I think gonna happen. So let me get a little slug of Java here. And let's get going. All right. So let's look at the 1 hour chart with Bitcoin. Nicely up on the 1 hour chart. And let's see if I can pull down 18,000 here. We're pretty close. We are really close to 18,000. Holy crap. We are close. But I'm not getting why it isn't registering over at Bittrex. That's what I'm like, what is going on at Bittrex? And unfortunately, there's no just Bitcoin chart, I don't think, at Bittrex. Let me see. Maybe I'm crazy. Is there just a plain BTC chart? No, because it's all BTC against stuff. What is BTC at Bittrex? Do we just have that? Let me see. Hold on. I'll edit this boring stuff out. Bittrex, BTC, US dollar tether. That's all I got. So let's look at that. See, they have it as 17. No, they're high too. So I don't know what the deal is. There may be just some kind of weird lag or something with my wallet. Because I definitely have had a change in my wallet since yesterday, and they're saying 0. So maybe it's because I just logged in. Who knows? I don't know. That's weird. Either that or I got in a lot higher than I thought I got in, but I was way down at the bottom when I got in of this channel. So, okay, whatever. Trying to understand stuff, people, and sometimes I'm a little slow, particularly in the morning, and the bottom line is if I can do this, you can do this. Now, Bitcoin Cash. Let's just look at Bitcoin Cash for a little bit. Let's stop thinking about Bitcoin all the time. Jesus. All right. Bitcoin Cash. Look at this trend line. Right? If you want to get in to Bitcoin Cash, this is not a bad time because it has come back, but it's right on target on its trend line. So it's like you have a second chance to get into some Bitcoin Cash. I'm going to make a note of my watch list. I got a journal because I got to do stuff analog. So right now, Bitcoin Cash is looking good as far as a place to possibly get in. And it could go sideways from here, and obviously it could go down from here. But it's like you have to make a decision and do it, right? When you're ready to do it, if the market is looking like it is ready to rock and roll. So we have resistance right here. And it's right at that former resistance part. So that could be interesting. And I got to get going faster because I think I got to make some moves here today. We'll see. Let's go back to the one-day chart. Yeah, see, it's kind of right at this. The one-day chart's interesting because it's right at this kind of major resistance point, which is good. You want to be below that, and I'd like to get in down here, right? Be really nice to get in down here. I think Bitcoin Cash is here to stay, people, just so you know, whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing. So let's move on to Bitcoin Gold. I got a little of this. I'm watching it. We have a rising trend line here. Whoops. Every time I think, okay, fine. There we go. Hope I entertained you at some small form here today. I would not get in here. But if it comes back to this line, possibly, I have some, so I'm watching it. And if it does come back up here again, what is going on up here? Look at that. That's interesting. That could be, the little cap on a rising bottoms formation, right? So that might be a setup to getting going at some point. So interesting. All right, Dash. Dash is nice, consolidating way up here at the top. Let's look at a 1 hour chart. All right, this is how I like to get into Dash when it's had some consolidation. But again, this is a 1 hour chart. I prefer consolidation on a 1 day chart. But sometimes you don't have the time, right? And so I would say this is not a bad time to get into Dash if you think it's going higher. That's what I like. I like to see these multiple places of support and a sideways channel. But just be aware, you could look at this as if it has multiple tops, right? Let's see if I can pull this down a little bit. Or you can look at this as a downward wedge. And these have been unpredictable for me. Whenever I see these downward wedges, sometimes it boosts and sometimes it drops. But if there's no downward wedge and the bottoms are all higher and the tops are all the same, then it usually pops to the upside. That's all I've seen. That's just, there's no fancy name for it. I'm sure the technical traders can, bring in their Fibonacci, Bertolucci, quantum Blupa analysis tool, which I don't understand. But I understand patterns and rhythm. I'm a musician, so I trade like a musician. And musicians listen to each other. Musicians are highly sensitive in that way, and that they can kind of tell when things are about to pause. Really good musicians, that is, Joe Monona and Gene Moore are the guys that I make most of my recordings with. I mean, they're so good that I pause a little and they're right with me. So that's the thing, is that ability, that hyper awareness is something that works in these markets, or at least it's working for me so far. So Dash, not a bad time to get in if you want to get some. I still would like all these markets to have a serious pullback so that we can kind of gauge, what's the pump and what's the value that can kind of come back into the middle of whatever the price is. So we'll see. EOS against Ethereum. Up against Ethereum. That's interesting. I have not been able to do anything with my EOS and my Exodus wallet because either it has been temporarily unavailable for trading or the Ethereum has been temporarily unavailable for trading. And I wanted to take my profits into Ethereum, but maybe it was a good thing to hold on to my EOS. So we'll see. See, might be a good thing. There are no mistakes, people. You just have to keep that constant, well, you know what? I think I screwed up there, but you know what? It might be a good thing. I'll either learn to never do that again, or it's, not that crucial, or whatever. A lot of times the things we think are mistakes and we start beating ourselves up for are not, right? And my buddy Mike and I, who, we have done a lot of work together over 10 years, and he was like, if I just waited a little longer, it could have made even more. I'm like, Mike, we got to stop doing that. You can't think that way. You can't go, I coulda, woulda, shoulda. That just tortures you, right? And the only way to do this and manage your stress is to kind of be a little zen about it, and that's hopefully helpful for you guys. So Ethereum to the US dollar. Let's dial in a little bit. Let's look at the 1 hour chart. Okay, so Ethereum is coming back a little bit. Might be consolidating a little bit. That's good to know, because I want to find some place where I can tuck my profits. I want to pull it back to the 1 day again. Ethereum's pretty up, people, and it's still a recent up. The question is whether it'll consolidate here or have a pullback. If it has a pullback back down to this consolidation down here, here's the deal. You will see a buying frenzy with Ethereum. That's the thing. Is like when the prices go up, then some people are stepping back, but they're not out of the market. They're just waiting for the price to be better, right? So when the price comes back, all of a sudden a bunch of new buyers come in, right? There may also be some sellers who go, I better sell it before I lose my money, right? So there's that. There's those two mindsets constantly at war here, but it's a peaceful war. It's a conversation. It's an agreement. What is the price today? And it's totally and completely a human fabrication. What is value? What is value? Interesting question today. Okay. Ethereum. I don't know what to think about it. I gotta keep going here. Of course, IOTA, I don't have any. If you have any, good luck. Good for you guys. We're hoping we can get it at some point. Litecoin. All right. Litecoin, we got to look at a 1 hour chart here. Nice little bit of consolidation. Yeah, drop it a little bit. But it seems like it's kind of holding on the 1 hour chart here. We have 1, 2, 3 little places of support. And support is past resistance. Look at this. We have a little resistance over here in the past. Boom. And it's roughly about the support. So it might, yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, this is a sweet price for Litecoin, huh? And I sold all of it. I took all my profits when I saw a boost. Because in the past, we have seen these boosts, and then it almost always comes back. So you got to kind of grab it. But it's been holding. All these prices have been holding all week. And I don't know if it'll be the Christmas holidays where everything will kind of quiet down a little bit or what. But holy crap. So Litecoin, I don't know what to tell you. I don't feel really comfortable buying up here. But I could be totally... I mean, this could be a stop on the way to 1,000. How do we know? We don't know that, right? It all depends on the energy in the market. And right now, these sideways channels are really good consolidation and kind of taking a breath. And that's what Bitcoin has been doing the last couple of days. So I don't know what to tell you on Litecoin, people. I think the hodlers are going to do well here. Hold on for dear life. I'm learning how to trade, so I'm trading. At some point, I may decide to, you know what, it's a lot easier to just hold and get a bunch of good projects and just leave them and not even look at them, you know. But in the meantime, I got to learn how to do this, right? And that's the thing I keep telling people is that you cannot give your Bitcoin to some freaking Ponzi scheme that promises you 10% a day, right? Or promises you 3.5% interest compounded hourly. Or says, hey, loan us your Bitcoin, we'll give you our other coin that we created, and you can loan us the Bitcoin and we'll pay you huge amounts of interest on our coin that you have instead of the Bitcoin. And how does that work? Who is BitConnect loaning the money to? Like, who are you loaning the money to, right? If you've looked at BitConnect, you may be in it. I put $100 in just to see, and I actually made $300, which I took out in interest. So I put in $100 and made $300. How is that sustainable, people? How does that work? I don't know. So be careful with that. It's a genius plan, but here you can actually make those kind of returns, probably even just hodling. So that's one of the lessons I've learned. Anyway, let's look at NEO against the US dollar. Let me go back to NEO against Ethereum because I started flapping my gums. So NEO's kind of holding its own, sort of, maybe, against Ethereum. But I've got to, I still have the US dollar in my brain. So it looks like NEO has come back to a nice little support level. I might look into getting me some NEO. I did really well with NEO. I sold half of it, I think, on Monday. And that's the other thing. Laddering doesn't mean you sell everything, right? Okay, so my buddy Mike, he was telling me about laddering, and I started learning it. And I would buy 100, and then I would buy another 100, and then I'd buy another 100, and then I'd buy another 100. And he was kind of doing that too. We were kind of laddering in. But then he would just take all his profits. And I was taking like 100, and then another 100, and then 100, or whatever unit. And so, we had different styles, and, it's whatever you feel comfortable with. And sometimes I like the idea of, taking profits. Let's say I have 500 quantum, let's take 100 in profit at 15 and 100 in profit at 20 and 100 in profit at 30. You know what I mean? And then any pullback, hopefully you can buy more, but it's a messy thing, people. Today's theme, it's messy, and that's good. All right, let me say go. And by the way, thank you for your comments, people. A couple of you said that you really like the fact that I'm going into depth, that I'm not skimping, that I'm showing you everything, and that you're watching the whole thing. And I really appreciate that, because all my life, basically, I've heard, oh, you know what, people don't really want to hear what you have to say, or blah, blah, blah. That's old stuff. And it usually was about my music. But I've let go of my music right now in a very healthy way, because I am looking to finance my music with trading cryptos. So, Omi said go. Against the US dollars. Looking pretty decent here. And, these are just little pullbacks, people. These are not big deals. In fact, this is really, I'm liking what I'm seeing here today, because I'm seeing some consolidation. And I like a little consolidation because it gives me time to think about what I want to do next and where I want to put my energy, where I want to focus. And this could be a sideways trading range. We'll see what happens. There's support here. But we also have lower tops. Excuse me. We have lower tops. We have slightly higher bottoms. I don't know, people. When we say go, I don't think it's done. I don't think it's done doing what it wants to do, but we definitely have a little pause here. All right, let's go back to the 1 day. Quantum, let's look at Quantum. Quantum had quite the boost. I was really liking its sideways trading range, and I just kept buying more when it went down, so that was good. And then I think I sold around 16 or 17, so I definitely locked in some significant profits. But I still feel like that was something I didn't really want to do all 300. I just wanted to do 100. I wanted to take 100 in profit. So next time, but that forced me to figure out what was going on with my computer. My hard drive was starting to be full, and I got a Mac cleaner thing, and I started cleaning off some old files and stuff. So it was a good thing, right? But in the future, when you make a trade at Bittrex and you're not sure it went through, you got to go back and you got to check your wallet, right? You just got to do that. You learn this, and then you got it, and then you can use it in the future, right? So that lesson might save me thousands upon thousands, maybe millions of dollars someday, right? Because a lot's going fast, and the big lesson is take your time. There's always another opportunity. There's always another day, right? So you want to be able to preserve your capital so that no matter what happens, and stuff is going to happen this year, 2018, there should be some very interesting stuff happening. All right, so let's look at XMR, Monero. I really would like to get back into Monero. I think it's a hell of a good project. We'll see if we can have some significant consolidation up here. And maybe we'll all be looking back in 6 months and go, remember when Monero was only $330? Because I remember I first started in February and Bitcoin was like $700. And then by the time I got my account set up at Coinbase, because it took a week, and I know some of you guys are struggling with that, it was up to 900 and then 1300, and I was like, I missed it. I missed it, right? Beginner's mind sometimes is not very accurate. So anyway, someday, this might not be a bad place to get into Monero, but we'll see. Man, I don't know. I'm going to have to do a little deep thinking here. A lot of these projects that I really like are still quite high. XRP, Ripple. Now, this is interesting because we're up at 77 cents here, and my buddy Mike and I took our profits, I don't know, somewhere down here. I had a 50% gain, and I was like, you know what? I'm locking it in. It had been in a really nice sideways trading range, which now looks totally and completely insignificant. If you look at it, let's see if I can get it up here. Get it up, down on the chart. No, I can't. But let's go into the 1-day chart. I mean, it looked like a whipsaw over here. You see? Up and back, right? And boom, now that little whipsaw in comparison to the rise looks tiny and insignificant, right? But we didn't have that perspective. We had this perspective, right? And so as the prices change on this, there's no way to accurately represent it to our mind. You know what I mean? And the perspective changes things. That's something I want you guys to be aware of, that there's no facts here. This is all interpretation of patterns, ideas, prices, beliefs, all the stuff that you carry around with you on a daily basis that helps you to determine what's going on in your world between the external world and what's going on inside you. That stuff actually comes into play here. So that's why I think I'm going to keep doing this, because I think someone needs to talk about this stuff, and I don't know if anybody else is, but that's what I'm interested in, so I'm talking about it. And it's my channel, and it's free, and I can talk about whatever I want, and I can say the F-bomb sometimes. I like that. Although YouTube gives me a hard time about it anytime I use the F word. So I'm trying to keep it clean, but man, I really like cussing. So, all right. Okay, that's all the charts I have over at Bitfinex, and now I'm cranking down into Bittrex charts. Okay, this is ADA Cardano against Bitcoin. And you can see we had quite the rise yesterday, and we are back to an interesting spot. I mean, the trend line, just to play with the Bitcoin Cardano chart for a second, it's kind of here, but it's so hard to judge. I wish we just had US dollar charts here, but I have to go over to World Coin, whatever thing, World Coin Index. Let's get a 1 hour chart here against Ethereum. So against Ethereum, we have a nice little kind of holding pattern. If Ethereum boosts and Cardano kind of hangs here, buy it with Ethereum. But, you know, you're going to have to, and it takes too long over at World Coin Index. But let's see if we can get a US dollar chart. And I'm looking into next too, by the way, but not right this second. So let's see. ADA. See, it just takes too long. And this is my computer not being laggy. See, no, I don't have too many windows open. I got some open. Oh, come on, Jesus! It just makes so much editing work for me to go over to World Coin Index. So, but okay, so I want you guys to do this, right? The problem with Bittrex and the charts at Bittrex is they're either in Ethereum, Bitcoin, or US dollar tether, which I don't trust, right? And there aren't even that many US dollar tether charts. So you got to get some. For me, I'm so grounded in the US dollar that I can't figure out what's going on unless I get that kind of snapshot. So ADA Cardano, not a bad place to get in here. We have a little bit of a sideways range, and you could definitely do pretty well with this. It's only 20 cents, right? And it's down 11% now. So that might be, I'm definitely writing that down as a possible, if I can get a pencil that works. EDA, looking at that. All right, so, but that's the thing. I'm not going to do that on camera because it just makes too much editing. So I'm going to crank through the other charts. But I want you to check before you make your decisions. I want you to check the US dollar chart. Find a way to do it, because it's a three-dimensional thing between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and US dollar. Like, where's the best? What's really going on, right? Because it's a very dynamic thing, and it's hard to wrap your head around it sometimes, but it's actually really good for your neurons, right? It's good to keep your brain all frisky and young. Basic attention token. People, this is such a good project. I'm going to just keep talking about it until you guys get some. It is cheap, and let me go to the home of World Coin Index so we can just kind of get a little glimpse there. Any day now. All right. So Bitcoin is at 17,904 according to this chart. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for basic attention token. Okay. And I'm literally checking into all of these coins in the top 50 or so. Okay, come on. Oh, I guess I'm just going to edit like a crazy man today. There we go. Basic attention token, 22 cents. All right, 22 cents, and it's down 5%. This might be a place to tuck some profits. It's definitely on my list. See, it's nice sideways trading range. This is what I like, people. And it's at the bottom of its sideways trading range, basic attention token. You can buy a ton of them, right? Get several thousand of them, right? And of course, this is not to be construed as trading advice. This is just advice to me. It's self-hypnosis, remember? So that's interesting, and now I'm going to keep cranking through this. Okay, so it's looking good against all three of the different in and out currencies, Ethereum, Bitcoin, or US dollarishness, and Civic. Civic against Ethereum, that was Civic against Bitcoin. And again, you have to look at a US dollar chart. And I'm going to pull it back to a 1 day thing. Dash against Bitcoin, Dash against Ethereum. Dash against Ethereum is looking pretty good. Buy Dash with Ethereum. Boom. And then you bought something that's looks lower, but it's not really lower. It's sort of lower. Whatever. Monaco against Bitcoin. We've done really well with Monaco, but it doesn't look like it on this chart. You see, so you have to really... I'm going to just breeze through this because this is bugging me. Because I feel like there should be charts. There should be US dollar charts that are actually legible for all of these, but they don't have them on Bittrex or on... I haven't found them on Coinigy, and I don't want to spend all day looking for them. I'm sure there are some place. If you guys know where there's some good US dollar charts of some of these things that we're following, and I'm going to go to the other coin index site because World Coin Index is loading so slow, so we'll see. All right, next, according to against Bitcoin. This is a project. Next is a really interesting project. I checked it out yesterday. They're essentially setting up a peer-to-peer exchange so that we don't have to go to Bittrex and deal with the uncertainty of whether they're going to abscond with our funds, because when you're trading at Bittrex, they got all the keys, right? But you need to be there to make the trades, right? So it's kind of a thing, and the Exodus wallet, you have no control over the trades. You just send it to Shapeshift, and they make the trade at whatever price they make the trade at, right? You have no control. So Next is creating a peer-to-peer exchange. So you can exchange anything, and not just crypto. So you can exchange anything, right? It's going to be the great market. So keep an eye on Next. I'm going to get some probably pretty soon. When we say go against Bitcoin, when we say go against Ethereum, and we say go against the US dollar tether, right? See how different these charts are, and you have to wrap your head around them. Because it all depends on whether you're taking profits into Ethereum or buying with Ethereum, or taking profits into Bitcoin or buying with Bitcoin. And I'm highly discouraging US dollar tether unless you want to be in and out. It would be nice if we could trust it. It would really be helpful, but whatever. Okay, this is 10x against Ethereum. 10x has done really well. It just doesn't look like it here, right? It looks like it's going down, but it's only going down against Ethereum. So did I make my point? I think I made it. I don't want to beat a dead horse here. Here's Quantum against Bitcoin. This has helped me because when Quantum is up against Bitcoin, that causes me to look. And when it's down against Bitcoin, okay, cool, Bitcoin's rising. That's good. So that's helped me. Quantum against Ethereum. You might, if you have Quantum, you might want to take profits into Ethereum at some point. We'll see. Now, Salt, people, this is an actual lending platform where you can put your crypto up as collateral because it has actual value in the real world, even though it's digital. And so keep an eye on Salt. That's against Bitcoin and Salt against Ethereum. Okay. And people, I scroll through this stuff all day and I'm constantly looking at this stuff. So I'm just sharing my process with you. Woo! See a coin against Ethereum. Okay. Well, I have to look at all the other charts. I just have to, but I can't do it on camera because it drives me nuts. All right, Waves. Looking at Waves. Not a project I'm in yet, but I'm looking at it. Good Lord, my list keeps growing. NEM. Looking at NEM. These are all in, what is XLM? I forget what XLM is. XLM is something. Something interesting and good, but I can't remember what it is at the moment because it's not the actual name. Oh, Stellar Lumens. XLM is Stellar Lumens. That's against Bitcoin. There's so many coins, people. This is crazy. And what's the balance? Let's go to, and this is Monero against Bitcoin and Monero against Ethereum. Good Lord. So I don't know if I shed any light on anything today, people, other than the fact that Bitcoin seems to want to rise again. And I think I'm going to wrap this up and I want to get 100 of my Quantum back. Particularly the Quantum I sold here at the top. Because right now, I'm in a little profit there. So I'm going to figure out what amount that was, and I might take it out. We'll see. Let's go to a 1 hour chart on Bitcoin. And hopefully today Bitcoin will make some new highs and all the other coins will just kind of calm down a little bit so that we can get in and out of Bitcoin safely. So it's nice to be in the money a little bit here. Let's go down to a 15-minute chart. So the last couple of 15-minute things, there's been a little bit of a profit taking, but you're going to see that. But most of the energy is green. Most of it's up. And it seems to be working its way up into an $18,000 day here. At least at Bitfinex. But who knows what the price is at Bittrex, because it's like impossible to tell. So do you see where the frustrations are? Like you get into something and it seems cool and then you go, but what about this? And we need solutions to these problems and they're coming. They are coming. So, wow. Long spiel. Thank you, people, for hanging with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It helps me to know that I'm on the right track here and that people who actually want in-depth value, or at least the best in-depth value that I can offer, so that you can see me learn. And I learn best by teaching, and I learn best when I'm kind of able to make my mistakes and learn from them, because that's the only way, you know. There's a guy named Peter Saddington who has the Bitcoin Pub, I think it's called. He pretty much starts out all his interviews with, yeah, I'm really good at failing. I've failed a lot. I've failed so much that I've actually become quite rich, right? So that's kind of an idea. So think about it today, that there is no failure, there's only feedback, even though sometimes it hurts, right? And the thing is, well, how is this good? How can I use this? How is this actually a benefit to me? So I'm going to stop flapping my lips, and I'm going to say goodbye to you for today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And maybe I'll do a recap or something tomorrow. We'll see. But my coffee's getting cold, and I want to edit this and get this up so it's fairly timely. And I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate your comments and all that kind of stuff. All right. So that's it for today. Peace, grooviness, over and out. There are links below, by the way. Oh, someone signed up at my Coinigy. These charts are Coinigy, and someone used my link to sign up on Coinigy, and they paid me $15. So I want to thank you guys for that. And there's a Coinbase link below. There's a Genesis Mining link below. Not that they have any contracts at the moment, but there are links below, right? And you can check out my music. You can check out my websites and my courses and all that kind of stuff. But today, safe trading, people. Safe investing. Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. All right. Thanks so much. Peace, grooviness. Over and out. Start the music.